Hi everyone, it's Jennifer. The other day, my son and I decided we wanted to make some happy cards for some of our friends and decided to do so in heart-shaped cards and do some fun coloring. Now, he loves to use my Copic markers. He loves blending the colors together, but I wanted to challenge him to try something different. So we made some cards and did some coloring. Now, he didn't want me to record what he was doing because he's a little too shy, so I just recorded what I did, but he made some just like this and we really had a lot of fun. So I'm going to show you how to get the look of blended coloring but with regular markers, and then also how to create heart-shaped cards. So let's go ahead and dive in. I have this My Favorite Things Heart Stacks die set. I'm going to use the two largest hearts here, and with the second largest heart, I'm going to die cut a bunch of white hearts from any white cardstock. I use Nina White because I just love that. This is what we'll be doing our stamping on. Now, the stamp set that we chose to use today is from Little Inker Designs. This is just the cutest, happiest stamp set of all time. I just think they're adorable and so much fun to color. They work great for Valentine's, but also year-round. Now, since we are kind of tight on space with the hearts that we chose to stamp on, I had to cut my sentiment to make it fit and kind of look right. But this is okay. If you cut between the words in your sentiment, you can not damage your stamps at all. And instead, you get multiple ways that you can arrange the words to work on your cards. You're actually extending the life of your stamps by cutting them up. And I promise they don't scream. At least I've never heard them scream. So anyways, now I can kind of fit that word like in there and kind of pull all of our images together nicely. Now for the coloring on this one with the eggs and bacon, I decided I wanted to go super soft. I wanted some soft coloring. So this is the technique I decided to show you today. I think it's so much fun. You just take a regular marker. I'm using Tombow markers. I love these markers. I think they're fantastic. I've used them many times in videos. I'm going to scribble the color onto my craft sheet. Then I'm going to take my Dove blender pen and pick up some of the color with the tip and bring it to my paper. At first it's a little dark, but as I color it softens out so it blends out on its own. This is a great way to get the look of dimension by having some areas a little bit darker than others. If you don't have a craft sheet, you can scribble the marker onto like a piece of plastic from some packaging, anything smooth, and you just pick up the color with your Dove blender pen. Now the amount of color you pick up is up to you. If you want a lighter look, pick up less color. If you want a darker look, pick up more color. Now, I will say that this is a fun way to kind of control your color without using water. You could use water with these markers and get a watercolor look, but this is a more controlled way of getting coloring, and you can really make soft images or vibrant images. Now, between each color, I just scribble off onto some scrap paper that removes the color, and even if the tip of your Dove blender pen is stained, it won't transfer the color as long as you've scribbled it off. Now here I wanted a little bit of shading on the outside edge of our white egg, so I'm picking up a little bit of light brown marker and blending it out so you get the look of shading. This is great because you get that variation of color from light to dark, but you don't have to have a bunch of markers to do so. Now the Dove blender pen, you can buy a starter pack that has the pen and some refill, which is really easy to refill, and some extra nibs. Now I wanted to show you can also layer colors. So I started coloring my bacon. I thought he was a little drab looking. So I did brown at first, but then I wanted to add a little bit of red on top. So I'm picking up some red with the tip of my marker and then scribbling it off onto the scrap paper and then bringing a little bit of that red on top of the brown. So I end up with like a reddish brown color. Super easy to do. And I just used a brown and a red marker to do so. I didn't have to have a bunch of colors. So there you have a way you can get soft coloring with regular markers and a Dove blender pen. Next, I wanted to show you how to get vibrant color and another way to mix colors. So here's my peanut butter and jelly sandwich. For my jelly, I didn't have the right color, so I took a dark purple marker and a light pink marker and scribbled them next to each other on my craft sheet. And I'm picking up a little bit of each color and bringing that to my paper, and that gives me the color I need. So you can see I'm starting with the darker on the outside edges here and pulling the lighter color to the center. Now I wanted a little more pink to the center for some variation. So I'm going to go in and just pick up some pink marker with the tip of my Dove blender pen and bring that towards the center of my image just to give a little variation. So you can blend between colors if you want to. Now for the donut, I wanted to just show this example. I am picking up the pink color and I'm going to put it to the outside edge of where the icing will be. And then I kind of pull the color in towards the center and it just blends out on its own. You don't have to take any time to blend because as you scribble, the color kind of runs out. So you get that nice highlighting. I took the marker directly to the paper to color the sprinkles, and then I even colored some of the sprinkles white. I think that's a great way to make them pop. And you can see on the coffee cup, I did just some soft coloring, kind of like we did on the egg earlier. So you can see you can get a variety of looks with the markers and the Dove blender pen. You can go vibrant and blend colors together, or you can go super soft. Another thing I wanted to mention about this way of coloring, if you're like me and you're always on the go and you want to take something with you to color, like to basketball practice or something, what you can do is just grab a handful of regular markers, a Dove blender pen, some pre-stamped images, and you can color anywhere. You don't have to take a bunch of markers with you. Okay, so let's go ahead and turn these into cards. I'm going to die cut 2 large red hearts for each of our cards. I'm also going to die cut some white fun foam, just that craft foam that we used as a kid. I die cut that second smaller size heart from the foam, and I'm going to cut a little away from the edge. I'm going to glue this in between our stamped heart and our large red heart so that there's some dimension behind it. You could use foam tape if you wanted to, but I like that this gives a nice, even raised, it's kind of smooth surface behind our stamping so it doesn't get creamed in the card. So after I've glued these together with the foam sandwiched between, you can see you get that nice raised look. So now it's time to create our card. Now I have the other red heart here, so you need a second red heart here, and I'm going to do a score line about a 1/2 inch from the top of our heart. This will create a hinge on the top of this piece that will help us with a card that opens up nicely. So I'm going to fold this back and forth a few times so that crease is really good and moving, so that's like there's 2 little hinges on the top of this heart. Now keep in mind, you could use any shape here, a circle, a star, anything you want. Just put some hinges on the top like this, and you can create your own card. So I'm going to put lots of adhesive above these score lines. So on the top of these hinges, I want to put lots of strong adhesive. I actually decided to come in with my Tombow Extreme adhesive, which is really strong, and put a little bit of that down too. Whatever strong adhesive you have will be great here. Now I'm going to take the front of my card, the stamped heart piece, and glue that right on top of the other. So just put them right together, press those tops together well, and now you have those hinges that allow this to open like a card. I also wanted to show you another way that you can make this card fold. This is actually my son's idea, is to put a hinge kind of on the top left of your heart. So this will open up kind of sideways, just something fun and different. It doesn't have to be across the top. You could do it on the side of the heart if you wanted to. So now we have that hinge on the top, put some strong adhesive above that score line, and then glue that to the back of one of our other hearts. And so with this card, it kind of opens up sideways, just something fun and different. This design would be perfect for children to make for their friends at school for Valentine's, or to do all year round for different occasions. Now, if you know me and seen my videos, you know I always end up putting some kind of shine on my cards. I think it's just a great way to make it pop. This time I chose to use this Irresistible Pico product. This is great because it's got a super fine tip that allows you to put this clear product wherever you want it in fine little areas. I really like Ranger's glossy accents too. This just happens to come out a little runnier, so you can fill in areas very quickly, and it's got that super fine tip. This one also has some shimmer in it, so you're actually putting some shimmer and like a clear coating down all at once. Now this lid also has a non-clogging feature, so that's another perk of this one. But I like to use this and glossy accent. It just depends on what project I'm doing. So there you have a fun way to add blended coloring to your cards and also how to create heart-shaped cards. And hey, maybe your kids would love to make some of these cards with you. If you're interested in the products I use, they're linked below in my YouTube description to many sources. And you can also head over to my blog at jennifermcguireinc.com where I have a whole lot more information. Thanks for stopping by once again, and I'll see you again soon.